Multi-millionaire shows a legal way to not pay tax ever again.
The
Wow.
other thing I came to learn as I got money, and it was almost like someone pulled the curtain back for me, is how wealthy individuals play the tax game.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a tax game that the average person has no idea is going on.
Got to talk about money. Tax avoidance is a key skill to building wealth. And by the way, we don't talk about, I speak openly about I won't call it tax avoidance, but my tax strategies. If you're, it's like they said, if you're a prisoner of war, you have an obligation to escape. If you're trying to build wealth, you have an obligation to pay as little tax as possible. Do it legally. But Apple will issue their IP to Apple International in Ireland, and then they will use Apple Ireland. They will license their IP to America, charge them tens of billions of dollars, thereby increasing the income of Apple Ireland at a lower tax rate and decreasing the income in the U.S., thereby lowering their overall tax rate. That is pure tax avoidance. Every organization, every corporation does this to the hilt, and so should you. By the way, I will vote for people who have an alternative minimum tax. We have to raise taxes on corporations. The 25 wealthiest Americans pay between 6 and 8% tax rate.
What are the tax games they're playing?
Oh,
good question.
There's a bunch of them. First and foremost, it's you buy stocks, you never sell them, you borrow against them.
Okay, explain that to me like I'm a 10-year-old. So
Sure. You own $100 in Amazon stock.
Yeah.
You need money to buy something instead of selling the stock, and say it's gone up 50%, I say it's doubled, you would have to realize a capital gain and pay long-term capital gains on that $50 gain. No, just borrow against it and let the stock continue to grow. And you pay a little bit of interest, hopefully from your current income, but basically it's invest, borrow against it, and die. Put it into a trust, and then pass it on to your kids. There's a lot of state arbitrage. Jeff Bezos just moved to Florida to spend more time with dad. Isn't that sweet, Stephen? Isn't that nice? No, it has nothing to do with his father. Give me a fucking break. He aggregated $160 billion in wealth. He would pay about another 8 or 10% in state taxes in Washington because he's got to leverage the public school system, the University of Washington, the Seattle-Tacoma Airport, the hospital system. But in the U.S., you're allowed to peace out to Texas or Florida and pay no income tax. So all the people shitposting California or New York, show me someone who's all of a sudden can't handle San Francisco politics. I'm going to show you someone who needs to recognize a capital gain and has all of a sudden decided they like Texas politics. It's really not it's very disingenuous. There's the tax loophole I've leveraged. In the U.S., there's something called 1202, or qualified small business. So when I started L2.
What's L2?
L2 is my analytics company. I started it. I invested a small amount of money. Because it was a business worth less than $50 million, your business would qualify in the U.S. as QSB, small business. If you hold on to that stock in that company for longer than 5 years, when you sell it, the first 10 million or 10 times the basis are tax-free. So the first 10 million out of L2 was tax-free. Zero. Wow. That makes no sense. If that sounds like we're screwing the middle class, trust your instincts. I invested in a company, brought a company out of bankruptcy. I invested $2.5 million. The first 25 million, got very lucky, the company got sold for a lot of money. The first 25 million were tax-free. The tax code has gone from 400 pages to 4,000. And that extra 3,600 pages are to turn rich people into super rich people. Now, the myth around taxes is the following, that rich people...
Wait, please let me know in the comment section down below. Did you know any of this stuff that he's mentioning? And why should I please like the video?
Pay their taxes. Actually,
I'll give my tick at the end.
The sort of rich pay a disproportionate amount of taxes. So if you make all of your money from current income, that is salary, and you make a lot, you're actually paying more taxes than anyone. So mom's a baller. She's a partner in a prestigious law firm making $1 million a year. Dad's a chiropractor, has 3 people working for him. He makes $1.6 million a year. Total ballers. In order to make that kind of money, they probably have to live in a urban center in a blue state, where at that level, they're paying 45, 48, sometimes 52% tax rates.
Wow.
But if dad decides to raise capital and buy a bunch of chiropractic clinics and they become investments and he sells them for $50 million, his tax rate plummets. So you don't want to be a super earner. You want to earn enough money to invest so you can become a super owner. The top 25 wealthiest Americans
Deep. Let's hear that again.
invest so you can become a plummet.
Wow.
So you don't want to be a super earner. You want to earn enough money to invest so you can
Super
become
owner.
a super owner. The top 25 wealthiest Americans pay about 8% in tax.
That's
Right?
crazy.
So actually, the
Wait, he just said, so people who are bossing themselves literally, yeah, they're paying what, 40 to 50 something percent, he said, in tax. Whereas the top earners who are crushing it, making so much money, they're only paying 8%. What is that? Inflation stuff? Like, what?
to invest so you can become a super owner.
Owner.
The top
Wow.
25 wealthiest Americans pay about 8% in tax, right?
It's amazing,
So
man.
actually, the bottom half pay almost no tax. They pay a lot of consumption taxes, but it's the super earners that get screwed, what I call the workhorses. But once you make the jump to light speed and you own things and you make your money from buying and selling assets, your tax rate plummets.
The really sort of actionable thing there for the average person as well is probably the first point where you said a lot of what rich people do is they'll buy a stock. So I'll spend 10K on Amazon stock, and then I go to a bank and the bank give me a $5,000 loan against my Amazon stock tax free.
Right.
And I just hold the Amazon stock. Now I've got $5,000 tax free. If the Amazon stock goes to $20,000 in value, then I can go to the bank and say it's gone up now. Give me another $5,000, and I just spend and live off that money. Now, if the Amazon stock collapses, I'm fine because the loan was against the stock. So they'll sell the stock at a certain point as it's collapsing to get their money back.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to get into too much trouble, but leverage is how smart people go broke. But the idea is that one of the great tax schemes in history is that stocks grow. Think of yourself as a stock. You go up in value $1 million a year. You're making $1 million a year doing a very successful podcast. Every year, the government in the UK is going to take 40 cents of that, 40% of it. If you own $1 million in stock and it goes to 2 million, you don't get taxed on it till you sell it.
Yeah, so just never sell it.
Never sell it.
And that's what Elon's doing with his
Never
companies.
sell it.
People say he's got, $200 billion, whatever. In fact, he's borrowing tax-free against those companies.
And then when he finally needs to sell it to pay off some of those loans, he moves to Texas, despite the fact he built all his wealth in California.
Smart. I think one of the great advantages of life is, as it relates to wealth creation, is really getting good tax advice. Because I've sat here over and over again with people that have great tax advice and some people who didn't have any at all. And the outcomes are quite frankly shocking. The variance in outcomes are quite frankly shocking. From one person going bankrupt to the other person becoming a multi-billionaire. And it comes down to, some of it comes down to their tax strategy and how they thought about tax. And having, being around a lot of people now that are masters in tax, it was like, I describe it as someone pulled back a curtain that I never knew was there. And all these people were doing magic behind this curtain and no one ever told me that curtain existed. It's called tax. We don't all
Wait, and this is coming from Stephen Bartlett. He's been a millionaire for a while now, and he's mentioning this. So this speaks volumes as to the amount of research that you need to do, because you're just doing a normal basic job. And if you don't have that hunger, that eagerness to learn more, consistently improve, what can I change? What can I tweak? What can I work on? You're finished. Absolutely finished.
magic behind this curtain.
Pay
No
tax
one
until
ever
you
told me
died.
that curtain
You're
existed.
dead.
And it's
right.
called tax.
Well,
we don't all pay the same
Because
tax.
we're not supposed to talk about it.
Yeah, well, that's
Again, not
fine.
talking about it is rich people trying to keep poor people down.
Yeah.
Because rich people talk about their taxes all the time. Brightest woman in my entire professional universe is a woman named Lucy Lee, who is my tax Yoda, who works at a big law firm that I pay $1,800 an hour to figure out the smartest. When I set up a company, I talk to my tax person. When I'm about to get a big payment from my podcast distribution company, I talk to my tax person first. It is everything, but the key when you're young is to become an owner, not an earner. You're an earner. You want to bust a move out of earning and develop an army of capital that goes out and kills for you at night. $500 is a lot of money when you're 21. $500 when you're 21 is 10,000 when you're my age, right? And it's going to go really fast. So just start. And then once you become a super owner, you have 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, $1 million in assets, then you can become a super tax avoider.
I like it. I like it. I love it. This is the content that we live for.
Sounded awful.
Absolutely amazing.
That sounded awful. Sitting here with your bucket of sand. Oh my God.
A bunch of millionaires.
That's right. Talking about this is how we fuck the middle class, Stephen. This is how we really screw over the little guy.
If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch,
love it. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Stephen Bartlett. Wow. We need an opportunity. Look, one day a video is just going to take off. We're going to get the opportunity. I promise you. But if you're watching Stephen, yeah, I need that opportunity, sir. But yeah, no, honestly, putting jokes aside, that was truly amazing content. One day, one of these days, you just keep watching. We keep working hard and we keep investing, and you're just going to see. Absolutely. I'm a big proponent of the world always rewards those who are willing to put extreme hard work towards something, and then the other end will obviously be success if you keep on keeping on. As long as you haven't failed, you haven't stopped trying, I guess. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Please like the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. God bless.